My daughter loves him, I think he looks a little gay, but whatever makes my princess happy. XavierSoBased went from having based in his name to collabing with Lil B, was co-signed by Ian Connor, and helps the homeless. Currently he's blowing up for his song Patch Made, which has 300k views on YouTube alone, as well as his completely left of center sound, leaving fans with the question, who is this peculiar Dominican kid and why is he blowing up so fast? In other words, is XavierSoBased the next big thing? October 23rd, 2003, XavierSoBased was born in a Dominican household. As a kid, he was into all sorts of music and had regular hobbies such as skating. The skate park he skated at was only a couple of blocks away from his crib. From an early age, around elementary school, Xavier got into SoundCloud music. He listened to Drain Gang, Goth Money, Gravity Boys, Ocean Gang, Lil B, everything. I was always trying to put his friends on. Those are the artists that really inspired him, and he's even said he wants to bring back that vibe of listening to Goth Money and Gravity Boys. When he was 13, he got his first laptop, and while making an iCloud account, he made his email XavierSoBased@iCloud.com, since he was listening to a lot of Lil B. From there on out, he had a couple of rap names, but eventually landed on XavierSoBased, his iCloud. It was around this time he also started getting into making music as well. When he was 13, he started watching videos of Lex Luger cooking up beats on YouTube. It really inspired him, and he started making beats himself at only 10 years old. He also made his first couple of songs for fun. When he turned 15, around the pandemic, he really started making music. Songs like No Hook and No Drugs were made around this time. Around this time in his childhood, he was really inspired by artists such as Chief Keef, High C, Doo-Wop Kane, and other newer SoundCloud artists. However, although Xavier is known as a rapper that produces, he actually just started off as solely a producer in 2016. And going through his discography, you'll find he produced for quite a few artists in the underground. Another major part of his career is how much he collabs. He's been a part of two defunct collectives, Jewel Exet and Lores, and is currently a part of 1C, which he reps heavily, as well as Nova Gang and So Evil Boys. So now I'm going to go into his discography. A playlist with all the songs mentioned is linked below if you want to listen to them for yourself. 2020 was the year Xavier really started to take music seriously. And popularity wise, he was still a producer as much as he was a rapper. In the beginning of the year, he produced the Lazy God and DOMD song with Tommy Tuhati. He also dropped two albums, Ashwin 1234643 and Marble Blast. His best song from the year, in my opinion, is Don't Let Him In, where Xavier raps in a dark voice about the money he's making on his own and video games like NBA 2K and Thug 2. This was cool, but Xavier was just getting started. 2021 was the year where all the rappers that were blowing up the underground, like Tana, Some Sixes, Cash Dami, Young Fazo, etc., were blowing up through TikTok and had a certain sound, either plug or rage. Xavier and his friends were doing something completely different. This was the year where he found his sound a bit more, and also dropped way more music. In the beginning of the year, he dropped an album, Store, and an album called And. If Turn Up, a song part of And, doesn't blow out your speakers, he sings about running from the cops and drinking Hennessy. He dropped 3 more projects, With Before, With, and New Chapter. In August, he dropped one of his best and most popular songs to date, Crisp Dubs. Xavier sampled this random Russian song, and the beat is beautiful. A dub means a $20 bill, so he's got crisp bills that he's flexing every day, probably from the bank, I don't know. His fit's all white, and he's the plug. He went on to drop 4 more albums that year, 2000, Revax, Pretty, NY2ATL, and they were all decent. He ended the year with a bang, a collab with Lil B called Collaborating. Xavier raps about skating and trying to come up, as well as his disregard for critics or haters of his music. Lil B just lays down a verse. The collab is cool because Xavier obviously was very influenced by Lil B, if the name XavierSoBased in the backstory I mentioned didn't give it away. In 2022, he picked up right where he left off. He dropped 3 projects in the beginning of the year, Who Are You, and 2, and Xav on Tour. In Pina from Xav on Tour, Xavier and 10K rap about giving someone the beats, like they're John Cena. He says he's posted on the Esquina, which is Spanish for corner. The song's pretty hard. Xavier rhymes chop and make him dance like ballerina with playing out sold arenas. He followed up with Nothingness and Install. Install is probably his best album because it has the length to be called an album, and it features some of his best work. In Classist, the song is really nice production. He never goes to class, and he says he's trying to take over like a fascist. He's getting money now too. In Patch Made, the song that made Xavier go viral, the term itself comes from NBA 2K and refers to someone who's only good because of an update or patch added to the game. There are all sorts of crazy bars in the song, but the one that became popular was How You Living Life With No Passion, and it sort of became a meme. The song has about 300k views on YouTube, and I knew it was getting big when Ian Connor tweeted the song. In September, he dropped another tape, Expensive Coffee Is So Damn Bitter. In Throw It Back, he lies about being in Iraq because it rhymes, and talks about people stealing swag, but the song is mostly comprised of the hook, where he repeats Shawty Throw It Back. In October, he dropped And When. In Lettering, probably one of his most experimental songs, which is Saying A Lot by the way, he's just talking about his life, playing shows, girls messing with him, and drinking cocktails. In What Are We Supposed to Be, produced by Xavier, just a hard song on a hard beat. He repeats "What are we supposed to be" in the chorus. His final project of the year was Halloween Might Just Be My Favorite Holiday for Real. Last Halloween, produced by Cash Paint, and also my favorite Xavier song. It's the most XavierSoBased song you'll ever listen. You just gotta listen to it. Can't be explained in words. It's even better than Patchmade in my opinion. If you didn't keep count, he dropped 8 projects this year, and although most of them were just random mixtapes, and some very experimental, most of the songs were good, and his consistent work ethic would propel him to new heights in the underground. 2023 was the year of Xavier would finally get his shine. He's not huge or anything, but I guarantee you everyone who listens to the underground on SoundCloud knows about him, mostly thanks to Patchmade. In January, he dropped Bath & Body Works, and in February, he dropped Really Hoping Life Goes Well Right Now, and that project had no misses. How I Feel Too. He raps poppin' M30, yeah I'm blue pilled. And I gotta take a moment to appreciate the lyricism. Red pill is a movement where men realize they have been conforming to ideologies such as marriage where the woman benefits more. If you're not red pill, you're blue pilled. But obviously Xavier is just popping perks, so that's what he means. He's blue pilled. Because they're blue. Get it? The rest of the song just has some crazy bars, and it ends with him repeating, "Do you really believe all these real?" Maybe he's calling them NPCs. It's up to interpretation. The same month, he dropped a song with Yapo JJ called XavierSoBased. In NY, a collab with Yapo JJ, he doesn't care and is just humming, and his delivery kind of reminds me of Doo-Wop Kane. Literally the next day, he dropped another project, the third that month, and 3. In 47 with Me, Xavier keeps the stick on him and says, "If you talk hot, he'll take your bro out." In March, he dropped 100, a song with Midwest and Kuru. Midwest was also a part of Nova Gang, a collective Xavier is a part of. He also started working with Doo-Wop Kane. In April, Doo-Wop dropped Material, produced by Xavier. The next month, he dropped a collab with Slime Cito after being in the studio together called Cito Xav. Cito somehow manages to use the same flow even on this beat, and Xavier raps in Spanish for a little bit. In Crash Out, hosted by DJ Fat, Joey and XavierSoBased collab. Xavier raps about what he normally raps about, and Joey matches the energy. Earlier that year, Heisey got on Instagram Live asking to collab, and Xavier made it happen as well. It's only been a week and it's already hit 50K. The song's definitely going to be huge, and it's one of the hardest Heisey verses I've heard from him this year. In Bag It Part 2, Xavier and David Shoddy are like long lost twins. Nightmare and Onesie are kind of similar, and their collab is perfect. It dropped the same day as the Heisey song. On May 21st, Doo-Wop dropped an album, XavierSoBased, filled with Xavier flows and even had some songs produced by Xavier. He even tweeted about it, giving credit to Xavier and the younger generation. Understanding. So that brings us to today, where it looks like Xavier is about to blow up. But what really attracts so many people to Xavier's music and personality? To me, it's how genuine he is. If you go to his SoundCloud, he shitposts, always puts on for his friends, and in his music, he perfectly mirrors his personality. He's the perfect example of just doing whatever and having fun with music. He stated previously that he's inspired by previous SoundCloud groups who have innovated like Goth Money and Drain Gang, as well as newer rappers like Certified Trapper, who he takes a lot of inspiration from as well, and tries to bring it to his own music. So overall, if he keeps this up, Xavier will definitely have a bright future ahead of him for sure. Check out part 2 of this video for more of my personal thoughts on Xavier and my experience of his music as a fan. Have a nice day.